Okay, I stopped and looked at the mail, and we're ready to go again. I think this is session 4. Again, you'll be able to follow because I start with the slide we leave off on. Assessment and management of your electrolytes. Pay attention to calcium and magnesium. Those may need to be replaced. Your frequent vomiting or gastric suction can cause your chlorides to go down, your sodium to go down, your potassium to go down, but keep in mind that potassium may also be elevated if there is tissue destruction and or a degree of renal failure. You're going to monitor and treat your blood sugars. You want to minimize your pancreatic stimulation by keeping that patient NPO and NG tube to gastric suction if their pancreatitis moves towards severe. Oral feedings will be resumed when the patient is much improved, when the serum amylase levels have decreased, and when the patient has no ileus. Eating too soon is going to exacerbate the disorder because the pancreas releases its enzymes to help with the digestion. The enzymes are activated too soon, the pancreas continues to be inflamed. TPN may actually be necessary to meet the nutritional needs of a patient with acute pancreatitis in its severe form. Gastric suction, the patient will have an NG tube placed if they have severe vomiting, pain, or a paralytic ileus. They may not have an NG tube, namely the NG tube may be omitted if their pancreatitis is mild to moderate. Assess vital signs and respiratory status. Hypoxemia can develop insidiously, and it can be out of proportion to the severity of the pancreatitis. You know, you might think you've got a mild pancreatitis, and then the patient starts developing hypoxia, trouble breathing. They can also develop hypotension. With that hypotension, urine output goes down. They may become tachycardic, tachypnic. You're going to monitor your blood gases, and you're going to monitor your oxygen saturation. One of the things about paying attention to oxygen saturation, your patient may have a decent-looking saturation of oxygen, you know, on a pulse ox, but always pay attention to the effort that your patient is manifesting to maintain that oxygenation. If your patient's working really hard and your SAT is 98, your patient is still working really hard, and that may not last very long. A patient who develops adult respiratory syndrome as a consequence of pancreatitis may need to be intubated and mechanically ventilated. You know, the best example I can give you of being certain that you're not just paying attention to saturations is, you know, when we have a patient that codes in the ICU and we're doing CPR, we have really good SATs on that patient. But certainly the patient's having a problem, right? And just because we've got a SAT of 98 and 100 as we're doing CPR, it doesn't mean the patient's fine. Now you can take that back several steps, and you can see your patient has a SAT of 96 to 98, maybe 93 to 94, and you go, oh, well, yeah, that's okay. But if you look at your patient, and they're breathing 38 times a minute, and they're tachycardic, that's not going to last. Something has to happen. Some intervention has to occur to either remove their problem, whatever it might be, to get them better, or they're going to continue to decline. And it's always better to get a handle on that before they actually just stop breathing on you. Okay, some surgical things that might happen. If there's gallstones, there may have to be some intervention to get rid of that. If the diagnosis is uncertain, they may do surgery. If the patient is not responsive to the conservative therapies, if there's an abscess, a pseudocyst, or peritonitis, those might be reasons that a surgical intervention is necessary. The surgical interventions could be done through the ERCP. Now, you know, ERCP isn't exactly open the belly surgical, but it is an intervention and it is invasive. this is where you go, with a scope down the esophagus, through the stomach, into the duodenum, and then, you go up into here. We're trying to open up the bile duct that might be producing a obstructive problem. Sometimes they'll do a sphincterotomy to try to open the area to allow pancreatic enzymes to come out. The patient may need a lap chole, get rid of their gallbladder if that's producing the problem for them. Another surgical intervention that might be necessary is either a percutaneous or a laparoscopic drainage of an abscess. Percutaneous drainages are guided by CAT scan, and a lot of times they'll just leave a drain in place. If you've got a drain that is in the pancreas, make sure to take really good care of the skin in that area, because those enzymes can just destroy the skin along the outside. Some nursing diagnoses that you need to consider. They're listed here: acute pain, fluid volume deficit, imbalanced nutrition, ineffective therapeutic regimen. Under health promotion, consider the predisposing factors, treat stones. The patient who's got pancreatitis issues should not drink alcohol. It's really that simple. And whatever helps are necessary to get the patient to that place is what needs to be undertaken. All right, I think that's it for acute pancreatitis. Now, chronic pancreatitis. Well, doggone it. Let me turn this off, answer my phone, and I'll be back.